Sawadee krab, and good morning, everyone. My name is Nopadet Kanasut, Chief Financial Officer of B.GRIMM Power Public Company Limited. I'm together with Kun Solaya Nasongkla, our Head of the Investor Relations, and we are truly delighted to be presented the overall picture of B.GRIMM Power. But before we start, for those of you who may not know about B.GRIMM Power, so allow me to walk you through a little bit of the background, and also in terms of the portfolios, who we are, why we exist, and for your pleasure. So B.GRIMM Power is actually the umbrella of B.GRIMM Group's 140 years history in Thailand. We actually have a philosophy of doing business with compassion to become the real developer in developing the infrastructure in Thailand. So all the key forefront infrastructure has been developed with our own in-house capabilities, with a long-term view, commitment, and a vision to make the Thailand and the region become a civilization. And we have been involved in all the key forefront infrastructure, such as the first canals, the telecommunication, mass transit, until 1996, that giving us a chance to join as a private power producer in the space called SPP. And that's in 1996 is the very first round of having SPP, and we are one of the pioneers in this one. So that's where B.GRIMM Power has begun until today, that we have been accumulative in terms of the portfolio of SPP plus renewable into up to 2.9 gigawatts. And that has shown us to become the leading in the SPP space in terms of the highest number of projects and also the highest equity megawatts. And these are the four magic numbers of us becoming the 23 years of the history in running the power business with the in-house capabilities, experienced management teams with a good track records, and also in terms of the power development and also business development with a total capacity of 3.2 gigawatts and with the already in operation of 2.9 gigawatts. And we have been diversifying our portfolio into the renewables since 5 years ago, and make it the EBITDA margin to be the highest in the market of 28%, with the philosophy of making the project all being in time and within the budget with the highly efficient power plants. And that results into the awards and recognition from domestic and international recognitions from various organizations and magazines, and also being the Set 50 FTSE Index and MSCI Index trading globally. Plus, we also have been recognized as a top tier and in terms of the sustainability and also ESG guideline standard that we have been putting our vision toward the highest possible. That's because of our management that leading by Mr. Ling Kunpiyanat, the chairman and the CEO of B.GRIMM Power, giving us the entrepreneurial spirit and the partnership and the teamwork of our top management and key professional staffs working together, making the project happening, and bringing out their extensive experience and also their proven track records to be shown. That also have shown in terms of the proven well-diversified portfolios, and with our expertise in terms of their focusing on greenfield development and also the long-term investment in all of our power plants, with a majority shareholding in most of our plants. Starting with the major portfolio, which is the SPP, and the SPP is actually is, for some of you that you may not know about SPP, the configuration of the power plants for SPP is around 120 to 150 megawatts, with the contracted 90 megawatts with the industrial with the EGAT, Electricity Generating Authority of Thailand, and also the remaining to a number of industrial customers with the long-term power purchase agreement of 20 to 25 years, and also back-to-back with a long-term gas supply agreement from PTT, so it's fully well contracted, and also being passed through their gas cost, the fuel price, and also in terms of their FX and CapEx as well. So it's fully well structured and well contractual frameworks. And most of our portfolios and also power plant has been located in a key strategic location, which is in the central and also eastern economic corridor, or EEC area, which has been the key promotion for the government in terms of their stimulating their economy through their industrial estates, and also having attracts in terms of foreign direct investment to come to invest in Thailand. So we are in the 7 industrial parks with the abundant demand of electricity and steam supplies. This is the core business of B.GRIMM of power of 70%. But not only in terms of SPP, the leading and I think the upcoming ones has been growing very fast, which is a renewable portfolio of 30%, leading by solar that has been accountable for 84.3%. This is mostly in Thailand, and also the recent one in Vietnam, which is the largest in Southeast Asia, 677 megawatts, 2 projects together. It's accountable for 822 megawatts, followed by hydro projects in Laos, which is the run of the river mini IPP, up altogether 9 projects of 133 megawatts, and followed by with the wind farm projects in Thailand, but under construction, 16 megawatts. And lastly, it's the West 2 Energy, which will be commissioned by year end of another 5 megawatts. So it's quite well diversified in terms of our renewable portfolio, as has been very growing portfolio in the near future as well. And besides, we also have done in terms of the trading business, in terms of the transmission line and distribution networks, and in both in Vietnam and also in Cambodia, industrial parks. And lastly, the rooftops. So solar rooftop has been a growing portfolio of B.GRIMM power, not in domestic and also in the region. That will be more than 100 megawatt has been contracted and start to be constructed. So in terms of the total capacity of 3.2 gigawatts in operation would be 2.9 gigawatts in total. But if you look in terms of equity megawatts, we already have a total of 2.2 gigawatts and in operation of 1.8 gigawatts. And with all of our projects that mentioned earlier, it's been all contracts with the long-term power purchase agreements, and also has been fully benefits from their establishment of their of the contracts. And the long-term contracts is having the part of it 65% with the EGAT in terms of the revenue generations, and industrial customer of another 24% in Thailand, and also in Vietnam, customer of 3%, with also the steam customer of another 2%. And if you see on the right-hand side, the contract has been very extensive and a long-dated tenor, up to 20 to 25 years, PPA, power purchase agreements with the government, and also with 15 years and automatic renewal of the contracts for industrial customers. So the customer has already been renewed. They all been with us since the very first day of their generation of the commissionings, and they still will be with us. And I think that's the benefits that what the SPP has been to the customers in terms of their reliability and also stability of both power and steam supplies that has been attracted for their business continuities. And the contract would be also under the back-to-back with PTT, and also pass through the gas and also the heat rate contracted with the EGAT PPA as well. So the location, as mentioned, has been in the key strategic areas, both in central regions and also in the eastern regions, namely in the AEC area mostly. with the abundance of the demand from number of customers and all the world-class, very international standard in many various sectors, including automobiles, auto parts, electronics, consumer products, and so on. So it's quite well diversified of our customers, and also still have a lot of pent-up demands that would like to purchase electricity and steam from us. And besides, we also has expand our portfolio robustly in the renewable space. So we have been in all over Thailand, and also in the region, and still continue to expand our portfolio in other regions as well. So this is some of the key highlights that would like to touch base in terms of the overview of B.GRIMM Groups. But also would like to walk you through a bit in terms of the highlights that has been happening in the recent transaction. Starting with our key strategy in terms of the growth pipelines and also in the upcoming plans. So currently we have been fully contracted up to 3.2 gigawatts in next 2025. So with the current capacity, the growth will be 56% installed capacity growth. And with the recent development and operation of up to 40% from previous years, having both on the greenfield and also acquisition, and that has been adding up to our portfolio up to 2.2 gigawatts. And we continue to have the project to be constructed and also finishing the construction to be completed within the timeline as shown in the slide. The legacy that we have done in terms of the achieving the COD in timely manner and also within the budget is also has been proven to the market, and we continue to deliver as promised for the remaining of our portfolio in the pipelines that's already been committed. But this is not only what we already have been targeting. We have a vision to grow our portfolio up to 5 gigawatts. So we'll be having additional of 1.8 gigawatts in the upcoming years. So where will we be coming from? We have actually expand our strategy in the short-term, medium-term, and long-term plan. And in terms of the pipeline that we are having, we have a number of potential projects that has been coming and also about to be finalized, looking from the outside into our home countries. From Korea, actually, this project has been conducting due diligence comprehensively, both technical, financials, and legal. And currently, we actually come to the final in terms of the contracts to review all the key permit licenses and planning to have the SPA side in case that we actually fulfill all the condition precedents. So this project would be 36 gigawatts of the wind farm onshore with their partner, which is KEPCO. And we hold 80%, and we target to actually start construction and reaching the commissioning by the year end. That's our plan. And the partner will be a subsidiary of KEPCO, namely Komipo, with the long-term contract having their renewable energy certificate or RIC into the pipeline of 20 years. This is the opportunity for the Korea, and we also continue to develop our portfolio in the renewable space in Korea more and more. And coming to the next destination, which is the Philippines. Philippines will be on the rooftops opportunities, which actually we plan to install the number of the solar rooftop in the assembly lines, and we are starting to construct some of the power plant in the solar farm and solar panels in the assembly lines up to 6 megawatts. And we have been continuing to contract more and more in Philippines as well with the long-term PPA of up to 15 years. Vietnam also has been the key highlights since the first round of this year. So we have been welcoming the RC largest solar farm, 677 megawatts of 2 sites, together, and it's already been in operation since June of this year. So we have 20 years contracts and of 9.35 US dollar cents per unit, and continue to generate revenue punctually. And for next round, the government trying to promote more and more in terms of renewable into the master plan. So we have an opportunity to conducting due diligence for the wind farm for the second round, which is the guidelines. Actually, the project has to be commissioning by October of 2021. So we have been installed a wet mast and also seeing the optimal wind speed of the number of the location in the down south of Vietnam. So we have quite a number of up to 400 to 500 megawatts in potential in Vietnam wind farm projects, both onshore and offshore. So the guideline of this would be in terms of the project onshore having the contracted of FIT or fit-in tariff of 8.5 US dollar cents, and the offshore of 9.8 US dollar cents per unit for 20 years if you eligible to complete the project within the October of 2021. So we have to be finalized by early of next year. That's our target, to be able to construct within the time frame. And not only that, we also exploring the opportunity, as you may have seen in the news, that B.GRIMM has signed the MOU with Petro Vietnam Power. So we have been agreed to co-study and develop an opportunity together in terms of LNG to power business, and also in terms of importing and distributed of the LNG. And this will be the future to fill up the gaps of the country in terms of the growth pipeline of the economy that Vietnam has growing the GDP of 6 or 7% each year, and the demand for electricity of Vietnam has been growing from 40 gigawatts to 130 gigawatts within the next 10 to 20 years from now. So I think the key drivers will be coming from not only in renewable but also from the gas to power business. And besides Vietnam, the similar concept would be going to Cambodia. So Cambodia opportunity would be in terms of the solar farm that we have been opportunity to entering into the first round of the PPA contract. So we have been announced to the market yesterday that we have come to the conclusion in terms of the long-term contract PPA holding 100% into the project 30 megawatts solar farm project so that will also be able to construct and finalize within the next 6 months from now. And you see the opportunity to develop more in Cambodia, not only the internal renewable solar farms, also in LNG gas to power business, also giving us some opportunity to make also the shortage of the power supply to be fulfilled as well. Moving to the next destination, which is Malaysia. Malaysia also have opportunity for us in terms of M&A opportunity, and this project has been reviewing and conducting due diligence for quite some time in terms of the technical, financial, and now it's coming to the legal due diligence to be finalized, and the target of this will be happening hopefully within next year if the key legal matter has been solving. So the size will be about 250 megawatts of opportunity in the location, mostly in the industrial parks, serving industrial customer inside it, and having growing platform to grow 150 megawatts and IPP size and more. So this the opportunity in Malaysia in terms of the conventional, but also in terms of the renewable solar business, also have the opportunity to develop solar farm in the next coming round as well. So, with this opportunity has been giving us a chance to fulfill the gap of 1.8 gigawatts upcoming in the next 2 to 3 years from now, as we have been targeted to be foresee. And coming to Thailand, so the Thai market has been modify in terms of the power development plans and trying to revise and setting back in terms of the new revision very soon from the new ministers. So we have been summarized in terms of the policy of the energy ministers into the 4D and 1E. The first 4D is the decentralization. So this is the concept of SPP that we have developed in terms of their having a number of customers in the industrial parks to be happening as the private PPA. So more to be continued for the independent power supplies into the distributed generation area, similar to the industrial parks that will be located in and developed towards the private PPA with the customers and has been more in terms of the standalone basis, and also continue with the having the digitalization, which is second D, to be embedded, having a smart microgrid. Since we have been developing in terms of the transmission line, distribution network, and adding up more of the combination of the generation units besides the gas cogeneration, and also keep getting more of the renewable mix into the portfolios, and having the battery storage or energy storage system to be part of the jigsaw to make the reliable and stable power supplies to the renewable mixture. So this is the new business model that we will be foresee in terms of the upcoming the plan of the smart microgrid in Thailand, and B.GRIMM actually has been well prepared in terms of getting the smart microgrid to be happening, partnering with B.GRIMM, partnering with many world-class international standard partners like Energy China, for example, and the another D, which is decarbonization. We also have been have a footprints in many of the projects in both renewable solar and wind farm, and that will be adding up more in terms of their having a promotion for the hybrid SPP to be in the picture. So one of our key pilot project, which is the Utapao hybrid power plants, also will be the upcoming ones in terms of their having the combination of decarbonization, decentralization, and digitalization as a complete picture. So the Utapao power plants will be a combination between gas cogeneration of about 80 megawatts, plus the solar farm of another 50 megawatts, back to back with the energy storage system of 50 megawatt hours. So this is the complete picture that we have seen, starting with the construction next year in terms of solar farm, and continue to start and finishing in the next 2 to 3 years from now. And lastly, the government also trying to delock or deregulated the key permits and licenses that allows all the 3Ds and 1E, which is electrification, to be happening in Thailand. So we will be seeing this movement coming along in the next few months or so in terms of their new revision of their power development plan. Okay, and the recent development in terms of their preparation in Thailand, and also growing in other regions by having the partnership. This is our philosophy of doing business. We always have the strategic partners, including the MOU that we have signed with Siemens and TPSC to enhance the efficiency and also the technology of our business. So this will be explained in more details by Khun Sriwong in terms of how well we actually have done in terms of their efficiency improvement, availability improvement, and going towards the digitalizations. That's as our KPI with Siemens and TPSC. And also, we have been prepared in terms of the development of their smart microgrid with having their energy storage system to be in the picture. So we are partnering with the world leading R&D technology in this business, which is B.GRIMM from Korea. So will be cooperate and work together to develop in terms of their the new business model of their microgrid system. And lastly, in November of this year, we just recently signed the MOU with Petro-Vietnam Power to co-study and also develop in terms of power plants and also study in terms of LNG business of the fuel in terms of the imported, distributed of our power plant in Vietnam. So this is the recent development that we have done so far. So next, I'll turn to Kun Siriwong to walk you through in terms of another key highlight from Vietnam, and also what can be updating in terms of our SPP for portfolios and the outlook that will be coming soon.
Okay. For the solar Vietnam, I would like to update the performance for DT1 and 2, 420 megawatts, and Phu Yen 257 megawatts. Both projects have started commissioning since mid-June, which is advanced in our schedule, so we can realize the revenue earlier than our expect. And also, the actual operation performance is very well. Even during raining seasons, the capacity factor is about 17%, which is very high when compared to Thailand. And also, the EBITDA margin is quite high in the range of 80 to 90%. For the Phu Yen project, we connect to the national grid at Tuy Hoa substation, which is supply the electricity to Nha Trang and Bình Long province, which is the tourist destination. Also for the DT1 and 2, we dispatch to the Tien Ninh substation, which supply the electricity to the Ho Chi Minh mainly, which very huge demand. So we don't have any curtailment risks. Next, for the SPP extension and replacement scheme, our 5 SPP is going to expire over the next 3 years, and we also have the eligible for the SPP extension and replacement scheme, which the government has allowed us to have the new PPA for another 25 years. For the difference between the existing and replacement scheme, the EGAT PPA will reduce from 90 megawatt to 30 megawatts, which we have more room or more capacity to sell to the IU, which have the higher margins. For another benefit from the replacement is that the SPP1, which in the Mataput area, we have the upside since the huge demand, so we can have the installed capacity up to 140 megawatts for each PPA. So we have 2 PPA in SPP1. Another one is ABP1 and 2 that now we sell the revenue stream to the infrastructure fund, and is going to expire with the existing PPA. So we will gain the interest or the shareholding increase from 15% to 51%, which means that we have the higher equity megawatt. This is for the replacement scheme. The next outlook for the SPP, which if you can look at the graph, you will see the trend of the gas price is declining, even though we have the FT is freezing. However, since the gas cost is contribute about 70% of the total cost, so if the gas price reduced, it means that our margins will going up. Another key highlight is IU demand. We will have a new IU going to dispatch to our power plant. For the second half of this year, we have a new IU from ABPR 4 and 5, together 11 megawatts. And we're going to have 1 megawatt dispatch in the first quarter of next year. However, we still have about 10 megawatts under discussion and about to sign the PPA. Next, we'll show not only the new IU that we're going to have, but for the existing operations, we try to improve our performance by having setting the KPI with Siemens, which our supplier, the key supplier, to improve three areas. Which first is the enhanced availability. It means that we try to reduce the maintenance day from 18 to 20 days to 10 to 15 days. So if we reduce the number of maintenance days, it means that we can have the revenue higher than before. Second is the enhanced efficiency. We try to improve the heat rate of the gas turbine. So if we improve about like 1%, it means that we will use less gas to produce the same electricity. And the last one is we're going to move the digitalization. It means that we try to use the big data to look at the IU or industrial customer performance or load. And we can sell the more capacity, the spinning reserves to the IU. So it means that we can increase the higher revenue. For the next one, we will show the LTSA upgrade schedule that we have with Siemens. We planned, then we have done the upgrade for ABP3 last year, and also we're going to have about another 5 power plants to do during this year until 2022. After we done the upgrade from the Siemens, we will have a saving about 80 to 100 million bahts per year. Next, we will moving to the B.GRIMM capital structure. Currently, we mostly the debt profile we use the project level. We use the financing, both the project finance or the project bonds. Also, we have the loan at the corporate level about 30%, but mostly we fix with the debenture. We try to reduce the interest rate or financing cost during the past 2 years by refinancing both the project bonds and the corporate loan and the project loans. So currently we can achieve the financing cost at 4.5%. It's declining over the past 3 years. The last one is the net interest-bearing debt to equity ratios. Currently, we have the 1.6 times for the consolidations. Since we are the majority of the project, so we console both the assets and liabilities. But if you look at the corporate or company only, we have only 0.9 times. For the dividend policy, we have the minimum 40% of the normalized net profits of the consolidation. But for the last 2 years, we have paid out about 45% of the normalized net profit. Next, Kun Soraya will going to with the B.GRIMM Power financial performance.
For financial performance, in Q3, B.GRIMM has a record of normalized net profit to owner of 715 million baht, thanks to the commercial operation of 11 projects consisting of 1 SPP and 7 solar projects in Thailand, 1 hydropower plant in Laos, and 2 large solar farms in Vietnam, as you know, and also the acquisition of Glow SPP in March. These together with the increasing in tariff, our revenue increased 21% year on year in Q3. For EBITDA margin, is also increased to a record of 28.3%, thanks to the increasing contribution from renewable portfolio and also the decline in gas price, and also the efficiency improvement as Kun Siribong mentioned. And next, for operational figure is in line with our performance, that you can see that for both volume and also the tariff increase, and the growth leader came from Rayong power plant. For the Q-on-Q basis, for operational figure, volume also increased, and Rayong and Lam Chabang are the growth leader. For the tariff, although this look like it's decline, but it's generally in line with decline in gas price. And this just show the correlation between gas price and FT charge. And next, this slide to show that we always continue to keep our high standard with high efficiency. The hit rate from our SPP portfolio always below the contracted hit rate, which means that we can enjoy the margin from this, and also we can maintain to have high availability factor of above 90%. For the normalized net profit or NNP, this is called that we exclude unrealized FX gain loss from the translation of US dollar debt, and also we exclude extra items such as gain and loss from acquisition and some accounting adjustment which are non-cash item. And from these adjustments, our normalized net profit was new high, as I mentioned, at 715 million baht in Q3. This increased 69% year on year, and also more than 20% Q on Q. And maybe next is just our financial position, which grow with the portfolio expansion.
Thank you, Kun Siriwong and Kun Solayar. So we have a few questions coming to be answered. First, the question is regarding their overseas expansion. Who are the competitors in the industry in each location, and is there any barrier of entries? So in terms of our strategy going overseas, we normally comes in as the very beginning in terms of the development in each countries, and we are coming as a local company platform to grow a business in each country. So the way that we normally expand our business, we have a partnership with the local strategic investors. Like for instance, that we have been entering into Vietnam over 20 years ago. So we have been partnering with Amata, and also we continue to develop our local professional teams, and also the networking in locally, and also with the local authority and local governments, and that give us more opportunities to expand our portfolio into the other type of the fields, such as solar or wind farm, or the future of LNG gas to power business. So this is the strategy that we actually has planning to enter into, and in terms of the competitors, we actually have foresee that there may be a groups that have experience in a similar business of in terms of the development, constructing and operating of our power plants. But the both in terms of the Thai power players or international power players. However, the key strength that we are having compared to our peers, competitors, is that we actually have the long-term strategic partnership that can actually penetrate and capture the opportunity earlier than others, and make the total competitiveness in terms of the funding cost and also technical and EPC cost to be at the most efficient. So that's the way that we actually can be able to come in and be able to actually able to find the new permit licenses and make the project meet the expected return of our equity. So that's maybe the way that we actually do the business, and mostly we continue to start off with the bilateral negotiation discussion rather than to go for auction or bidding. So that gives us also opportunity to have the team to come in as the very beginning as a greenfield developer and continue to start construction and operation at the most optimal in terms of the return of each of the target that we have been seeing. And in terms of the barrier of entries, we actually have not really facing any barriers, since we have been coming into each country with our local platform of local partners in the picture, have very strength in terms of the technical capability and financial strength and also the proven track records that we have done. So we have been welcoming into every country to co-develop and supporting I think the fundamental of the power development to fulfill the needs and potential needs of the countries. The second question is regarding the other regions that we have been looking at in terms of the medium to long term plan. So currently we actually have mostly in the region, which is in the South Asia plus South Korea, but we actually have seeing more opportunity in the Middle East that we recently has been going to develop the solar rooftop in Oman. So we have opportunity to install up to 30 megawatts into the solar rooftop space in a commercial and retail business. And that will be a future destination that we plan to expand our portfolios into that region. And so I guess that's been some of the question has been raised. We got the last question, which is the joint any plan for the joint project in Japan. So basically, we have explored Japanese solar farm in the past, but in terms of our due diligence, we have seen that it's a bit challenging to entering into opportunity in the solar farm in terms of develop a platform to grow our business similar to what we have done in other countries, that we would like to be a local company there. In Japanese, there are some of their local contents of the key permit licenses dealing with local government, local communities, and also in terms of the tax structure plus the financing package that has been some kind of the challenging to be able to obtain, and plus in terms of the land issues that we have experienced in a number of our projects that we have done. So we decided not to continue to develop the project in the Japanese solar farm. However, if there is maybe other opportunity in the future in terms of the development in other area, we might reconsider to entering again. But as of now, we don't have any plan to enter into in Japan at the meantime. So, and I think another question in terms of dividend policy, this already has been covered by Kun Siripong already. So that's coming to the end of our presentation. And if there is any more information and questions arise, please don't be hesitate to contact us at our investor relation. And also, we are very happy and delighted to answer of any of your questions. So thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you and goodbye. สวัสดีครับ